Welcome back, YouTubers, to another Friday Night Smackdown review with us, the British Fist.
Touching.
I am Mr. Parkin. Yes, indeed, still a little bit ill, but in this corner we have the right and honourable, the man who's going to be doing most of the talking in this review. It's NJ.
What's up?
What an excitement treat that'll be for you guys out there. Make sure you guys subscribe up above, like this video, and comment your thoughts on this episode of Friday Night Smackdown down in that comment section below.
Make sure you contact us in the link from the box below.
Yes, and in case you're wondering where our TNA reviews were, we did them on our individual channels. You can check those out from the channels that we've got in the description box below. Go subscribe to them too. Just shameless little plug there, NJ.
It was indeed.
Right. So we started off this Smackdown this week, the last one of 2011, mind you, with a video package of Randy Orton and the Wade Barrett feud and all these little things that have been going on. It hyped up a Falls Count Anywhere match for the main event tonight. It was a little bit out of nowhere, I guess, but at least it's hyping up, you starting early hype for the main event match.
Because it's normally the opening segment is the main event, but the video package done its job for it.
Yeah, which meant the opening segment didn't have to announce the main event, so you could bring out a guy like Booker T to open the show, a guy who a lot of people could associate with, and he comes out and talks about 2011 being an awesome year for Booker T. He entered the Royal Rumble. You know, he's gone back to announcing, and then who comes out with all his might and glory? Give you a clue, MJ. I'm a mark for this guy.
Cody Rhodes!
Yes, exactly. And my God, isn't me or Cody Rhodes' promos getting brilliant now?
But he's getting to know what to say on mic. He's got a lot of built over the last couple of weeks. Months. He's just got a good character now.
Yeah, and then Rhodes gives his year recap. He's brought honour and prestige back to that IC Championship belt, which he has, and he defeated Rey Mysterio in what could only be defined as a career-defining victory against Rey Mysterio at WrestleMania. What a great promo segment that was from Cody Rhodes. And then we had Booker T saying that he could beat Rhodes, and then, you know, and then all of a sudden we get the appearance of Goldust.
Without the attire, just in a suit and face,
He comes out in a suit, and this you kind of know when Goldust is coming out in a suit, it kind of means business, doesn't it? And he talks about the sense that Cody's going around business the wrong way, that he was inspired by Booker T, and then Rhodes talks about the fact that he's a joke and he's restoring the Rhodes family name. I did feel this was an interesting opening segment. The fact they brought Goldust in there shows that they might do something with Goldust in the future.
The way it was going, at first I was thinking, okay, this is mainly about Cody Rhodes and Booker T, where you can throw someone else in. But by the end of the segment, it does come clear that something could happen between Cody Rhodes and Goldust. Yeah,
and that kind of is what made it a little bit interesting for me. You've got the whole Rhodes family thing there, which is good. We get the announcement that Rhodes versus Booker T for the IC Championship is going to be next week. Could have little things about that. And Rhodes attacks his brother after the match, so after the segment even. So I thought it was an interesting opener, I thought.
Well, the fact that they're having the IC Championship on next week is making me think they're probably going to round it up here. The guys were two finished then, and then we know they had Goldust there, because that's going to be the next step after the next week match.
You never know what they might do. That might be a match at WrestleMania they got planned. Could be a good match with Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania.
It could be, because obviously Goldust has been out a bit like the segment actually showed. But this match could be good for it.
And it's Cody Rhodes going over another legend on his way to the main event status in 2012, possibly. So there we go.
This segment was effective, giving us ideas of what's going to happen in the future, and it was a good opener.
Yeah, after the opener, we got Ted DiBiase versus Jinder Mahal. Now, if we didn't read spoilers, we'd be thinking Ted DiBiase is going to win this match easily. And this match went on about 3 minutes, and Jinder Mahal got the win. The thing is, right, I don't mind Jinder Mahal getting the win. It felt more of a really moment, just because of the way he's been booked lately. I don't mind him getting the win, because I think they're going to have a feud between these two. This is the right direction to go. He has to get a win somehow in the feud, or else the feud just isn't going to be believable.
It's just like the Cody Rhodes win. Booker T needed a win for the feud to continue. So now I'm thinking that Jinder Mahal's got a win. The feud can continue now, because Ted's going to want to get the upper hand over Jinder Mahal.
It will essentially be done to put Ted DiBiase over, though, won't it?
Eventually will be, yes.
Yeah. In the next backstage segment, we get the relevant news that Drew McIntyre has been signed back to Smackdown, and he appeared twice on TV tonight. So you've got to admit, the Drew McIntyre love for us is going to be pretty awesome in this review.
But the fact that he's got signed to Smackdown made me think, good, now they're going to probably have more ideas for him. Maybe they're going to build up his character on Smackdown, possibly start using him again.
You would think that, but basically Long says that he wants him to have the passion. If he doesn't get a victory, then Long will think about taking him off Smackdown, as he thinks that he's getting paid too much for what he's essentially been doing. I'd say it's more to do with backstage politics and the lack of booking that hasn't helped him, but that's just us as smart marks. You're obviously trying to stay in character, Teddy Long, and while you're staying in character, just go ahead, and you're supposed to be player, shag Axana already, and just get that fucking thing over, because we're fed up of seeing those blue lights.
Well, going past that Axana thing, Drew McIntyre brought up the past that he got Theodore down on his hands and knees. They're bringing back that, but it's a no clean plate. Let's do it. Go Drew McIntyre. Go Drew McIntyre.
After that, we have the obligatory random ass Divas match: Alicia and Caitlin versus Natalya and Tamina. That's just random out of nowhere, wasn't it?
The first thing I noticed is Natalya's attire with all this bright pink, so there was a big sign there, something that I didn't quite like.
Yes, and we basically get Alicia botching the finish, and the match is a joke, really, essentially. Natalya loses again. We get Tamina attacking Natalya after the match. Natalya's been on a bit of a losing streak lately, and it kind of leading me to believe that they're going to be turning their face soon.
That's the way it looks. The whole entire game, I thought, that's too out there, so this is probably her way of coming back to be a face again. The Divas of Doom are down.
Yeah, and because Beth Phoenix wasn't there, so I imagine they're going to turn Natalya face, maybe have a feud with Beth Phoenix at some point.
Eventually they would, yes.
So I guess that accomplished that, but shitty Divas segment again. Just don't give them enough time, do they?
No, they do.
Tea time segments, guys. Just need to get back as soon as possible. Why did you guys have to go on holiday for so fucking long?
I don't know, but this segment, again, maybe it's hinted something that's going in the future, but for this moment in time, pointless.
Essentially filler, I guess. Justin Gabriel versus Hunico, something which had more filler feel about it. But we get the debut of Hunico's new bodyguard, Camacho, aka Donnie Marlowe from FCW. I've seen a little bit of this guy. Didn't impress me a whole lot, but he's got that bodyguard look, I guess, especially with Hunico, the kind of Mexican America type look.
And they brought him in quite well. It wasn't the match, because the match obviously went down with Hunico picking up the win. It was the aftermatch that actually showing that they're hopefully going to build him up to be a proper, true, helpful bodyguard to help Hunico get somewhere.
The thing is, they have these pre-match segments that, he comes out on a lowrider bicycle, which I thought was interesting. You get Hunico announcing that he has a new bodyguard and they want to take over WWE, and I'm thinking to myself, well, that faction you had would have probably been a lot better to take over if you're going to take over the WWE. Just saying. But I guess this whole segment was to put over Hunico. Didn't really do too much with Donnie Marlowe, aka Camacho, apart from after the match where they both beat down Justin Gabriel. I guess that was what the segment was supposed to achieve. It just seems a little bit filler.
All I can say is that with Hunico, he started to have a feud with Sin Cara went away, went downhill, so hopefully now he's got his bodyguard and a faction if he needs it. Yeah. He can get somewhere without Sin Cara being around.
Our main event of this show was Big Show versus Otunga with Mark Henry in his corner. We had this announced earlier in the night. It was supposed to be a tag match between Show and Daniel Bryan versus Henry and Otunga, but that didn't happen, of course. It really struck me during this main event segment that there's really no focus on Daniel Bryan. As Daniel Bryan had a segment on his own yet since he's become champion. It's like, my God, this segment did not focus on Daniel Bryan at all. It focused more on Big Show and Mark fucking Henry.
Yeah, they had the whole Daniel Bryan get involved, hitting Mark Henry with the belt during the match.
20 seconds.
But again, he just did exactly what he did on Raw. He ran away after the hit, and I don't know, there wasn't much to it. It just made me think that they concentrate more on Big Show and his character build more than Daniel Bryan, who's our new World Heavyweight Champion.
And if you need a segment to show you how much more of a Daniel Bryan title, winning the title was a joke, this is just showing you how little WWE want to book this guy at all. They don't put him in any segments, which are the focus of him, and the segments that he's in really needs to focus on his character, as he's the new World Heavyweight Champion, but he's just playing bit parts on SmackDown. They're not making him an essential part of the show. Just stupid.
And I found this part of SmackDown really horrible.
Do you really want to see this again?
We didn't. And the thing is, yes, Big Show's got a win, but again, he's in a filler feud while Daniel Bryan's the champ, so it's stupid.
And David Otunga is once again in our main event. Why? I will ask that why. So I guess I just didn't like this segment. I really didn't. Why is this our main event?
I don't know. We all knew that Big Show was going to win eventually, and that's what he did with the knockout punch.
So we get Ezekiel Jackson versus Drew McIntyre. What is essentially Drew McIntyre's return match. And we were popping a bit of wood here at the British Fest because Drew McIntyre was on TV, and he got more TV time in this episode of SmackDown than they did in the last 6 fucking months.
Very good on him.
Yeah, just
good win here.
Just a shame he lost the match. Yeah, I guess Ezekiel Jackson. At least we see Drew McIntyre on TV.
Yeah!
Let's stay. It's hard to stay positive.
Again, this is the way I would have done this, people. Drew McIntyre could have picked up the win, cheat or whatever, gave him a win on SmackDown. Then that's a new wrestler back on SmackDown they could use in the future. But make him lose, I don't know why.
I think the commentators summed it up right when they said chosen one to desperate one. And I think it's a shame that a guy like McIntyre is in this spot and we get Zeke winning by holding the tights. It's kind of like, wow, you just shouldn't have brought this guy to SmackDown thinking that we could, see something new, and you just had him lose to Ezekiel Jackson. It kind of shows that WWE might be just thinking of getting rid of him. I think
eventually they could, but then again, he had that whole backstage segment saying forget about that match. Maybe he'll get one more match and actually win, and then build it from there.
Or maybe, heaven forbid, a Drew McIntyre face turn. Who knows?
Would be interesting to see.
Yeah, and then basically we get a promo with Sheamus. Sheamus comes out and talks about winning the Royal Rumble. And I just seen someone talking about winning the fucking Rumble.
First mention of the Rumble, which we thought it's going to come this week or next week or whenever. Yeah. It's good that Sheamus is bringing it up now.
So at the moment, Sheamus is one of my picks to win the Rumble.
Same here.
Even though he's kind of filler at the moment. He also wants to win the whatever championship representing WrestleMania, of course. And then Hornswoggle comes out, says that he's going to win the Royal Rumble. It just really makes this whole segment stupid, in my opinion. You have Sheamus there trying to be serious, and Hornswoggle comes out.
I'm glad there's entertainment. Wrestling is about entertainment, but still, Sheamus and Mike was good enough. But then it got a whole lot worse.
Oh, for fuck's sake! Heath Slater, the Warren Man, and just like the crowd, you didn't go along with it at all. Heath Slater comes out and has a mic. I think that's all we need to say there. Really, he had a fucking mic, and he tosses him out the ring.
It makes the point that Hornswoggle and Sheamus are going to be like just people that you expect to win or something, but just going to be a big letdown. But whatever.
My question is, why are they having Slater in a promo segment with Sheamus? I know they have a match, and the match was too overly competitive, in my opinion. A guy like Sheamus should be squashing a guy like Heath Slater, not by having a competitive match. That is not the way you get a guy like Sheamus over. Really isn't.
The whole part here, another part on Smackdown that I really did not like. Sheamus and Mike was good, but then just got a lot worse after that.
Yeah, it's essentially filler, and this was kind of a theme of the show, really, wasn't it? Apart from a couple of segments. We then get a backstage segment after this, where Big Show and Daniel Bryan, they have show tension due to Daniel Bryan interfering in his matches and being his lucky charm. And then Long makes a Big Show versus Daniel Bryan match for next week on SmackDown for the World Heavyweight Championship, of course. And then Show says, "You had a good reign, buddy." And then Daniel Bryan says, "At least his reign was longer than 45 seconds. Boom!
As strong as that is for a good comeback, now we've got to think Daniel Bryan, the unbooked wrestler, versus Big Show.
Do you expect a title change next week, or do you expect Daniel Bryan to retain? I think he has to retain. He has to retain. Because then his title reign and Money in the Bank win and main event status is just joked.
With booking wise, it would be good if Daniel Bryan someone picks the win, maybe with the Mark Henry interference.
I just can't believe it.
Looking at it, it looks like we're going to get a new champ, but who knows?
I just can't believe Daniel Bryan will win, honestly, just based on the way he's been booked and all that bit. But anyway, so I guess we've got 2 matches next week booked, and they did announce the matches they got on Raw and SmackDown. Is it a little bit puzzling to you that they seem to be hyping more to their New Year's shows and their fucking second biggest pay-per-view of the year, which is Royal Rumble?
Well, again, they've got less than 6 weeks now, so they've got enough time to maybe hype it up.
They've got 4 weeks after next week to hype up.
So they're hyping up the New Year, so I guess it's okay as long as next week they actually start being up towards Royal Rumble.
Hopefully they will. They kind of need to. Wade Barrett versus Randy Orton in the Falls Count Anywhere was our main event in the match tonight. Throughout the night, we got 4 or 5 video packages showing the Orton Barrett main rivalry that they've had. They've had like the TLC match, Survivor Series, the matches on free TV, them ponying each other. It was good. I like that. They give it more of a main event feel, didn't they?
Again, the way they built this up, I liked it because it made us know what the main event is, the build up towards this match, and the match itself. Okay, let's just get the smart stuff out of the way first. Firstly, this is a pay-per-view match. Essentially, we just had paid to see them on a pay-per-view. So I do wonder why WWE are putting this out on free TV. Just saying. Well, my answer to that would be they've had Orton come out on top the week before. They're having this. I'm thinking this maybe just like they did with Cody Rhodes in that street fight. They're actually going to wrap the rivalry up here.
Yeah, but shouldn't feuds essentially end at pay-per-views? I'm just pointing that out. That's all.
It should do. It should do.
The thing is, I thought this match was going to be really good, and the first 7.5 minutes, there was no street fight elements in it, and I think one of the problems for me is that if you think about it, we've seen this match a lot on TV lately and at pay-per-views, and that kind of, because we've seen it so many times, it kind of makes the matches a little bit less exciting, doesn't it? And that's an issue with we've seen it twice at pay-per-view, well once at pay-per-view. We've seen it about 4, 5, 6 times on TV now. There's single matches between these two.
It's a bit of a shame they're rushing their matches against each other instead of spreading them out over time. Like I said, I'm picturing this the last one, so this match, last one, makes up for what we've seen.
I mean, the in-ring work was good. I'll give it that, and the storytelling was good. It's just that we've seen it a lot of times now, and the first 7.5 minutes, especially without any street fight elements in there, just offered us nothing different to what we've seen. And then after 7.5 minutes, we get them going backstage. We even get them into a lift, and we see lift footage. I fucking enjoyed the fuck out of that lift footage. And then we get the moment which this main event will essentially be remembered for. They're backstage for about 2.5 minutes, and we see the cameraman sort of vaguely showing Randy Orton falling down, Barrett pushing Randy Orton down some stairs, and he leaves.
Interesting segment. I would have maybe had Barrett go downstairs and pin, just to add.
Well, there was no referee, was there?
Well, no. So I guess
Cameraman would have done it. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, fuck you, Orton.
Yeah, that would have been a bad way to finish Orton. But now it's got me thinking, what's happening with Orton next?
Yes. Now this is where we need to address some things. We did a video on Wednesday talking about Orton's injury. Now we've heard a couple of news reports since then saying that he's just got an injury for a few weeks and that he may return at the Rumble and, heaven forbid, win it in his hometown. We've also heard news reports that he might have failed a wellness policy for the 3rd time, and Vince, rather than firing him, has suspended him with no pay for 6 months due to the fact that he's been, committed to the company and stuff. So there's all sorts of news reports going on here why Orton is essentially being reported as injured for 6 months.
Well, they've written him off a really good way. They made Barrett look strong, Barrett looking smart, and I'm like, if they have written him off for 6 months, wow, then I'm saying, wow, they've done it good.
While it is a big loss for SmackDown, it could be essentially, look what it did for Wade Barrett. It's made Wade Barrett look very strong. The main event itself, it was a good main event. I do question whether we should have seen it on free TV or not, but it was a good way to make Barrett look strong. And if they're going to write Orton off TV, a good way to write him off TV, I guess. It was pretty good. I did enjoy the backstage elements of this match.
They did it pretty well. Yes, the match started slow, but it did build up to the big final ending, which I'm going to give it a clap for.
Yeah. SmackDown this week wasn't very good though, was it? We were very bored throughout. The only real good things I thought were the opening and the main event.
The thing is, they shouldn't book Mark Henry in a match if he's not going to be in a match. They had this boring filler that obviously it may maybe make the rest look strong, like Jinder and Sheamus, but again, it's not actually leading anywhere. No. So overall, had its good points, but a lot of bad points.
Yeah, I mean, the opener was interesting. The main event was obviously going to be good. It's been built up to quite well, but a lot of the set was essentially short filler stuff, and it's kind of disappointing when you see guys like Sheamus involved with Heath Slater in filler, and do you know what I mean? And Otunga in our main event, and Daniel Bryan not being booked as your champion and being featured on TV like he should be. It's just really stupid, in my opinion.
Well, this is Gabe's thing now. He's been booked bad, but he's got his first championship next week.
I just hope to God he wins, or else it's just the whole title thing's been a joke. That's all I'll say. Yeah. I'm going to give this SmackDown, mainly due to the strength of the opener and the main event, maybe a C-, D+. It really wasn't that much of an entertaining show, and I had a bit of a difficulty getting through it, if I'm honest.
Well, I'm going to give it a C- just because I felt that even though it made the rest look strong, it just did not have a flow that kept me entertained. The main event, as Dan said during the review, it was a match we've seen before, so it kind of let it down, but the ending made up for it.
Yeah, and it's just a shame, like I said, that they're hyping more towards their New Year's shows than they are the Royal Rumble. It just, that annoys me a little bit, especially if it's the second biggest pay-per-view of the year. Just saying.
Again, as much as I do agree with you, they still have time, so I would say, because they're not going to have many matches at the Royal Rumble, they get the big Royal Rumble, and probably a few matches.
Undercard.
So maybe they have enough time to hype up some undercard matches.
I hope they fucking do, because I want Royal Rumble to be good, and I don't just want to have to rely on the Rumble match itself to make me want to buy it. So that's our review of WWE SmackDown from me, Mr. Parkin, and this guy sitting next to me, NJ. I know you want to hear this, so I'm just going to let him do it again.
What's up?
The main draw of our show. The other draw of our show is usually NJ ending these videos.
And all I'm going to say is, guys, Happy New Year. Hopefully you've enjoyed the last SmackDown as much as we haven't. And all I can say from the British Fist is Happy New Year from Mr. Parkin and me, NJ. Till next time, people. Goodbye.